Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Candace, and if you're new here, I am a new eBay reseller. If you're not new, welcome back. And if you've been following along, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have to give a big shout out before I start this video. I have the best audience, you all. I can't tell you how nervous I was when I first started my channel, putting myself out there, and not just putting myself out there, but showing my performance and financials and things like that. It was a little nerve-wracking, but you all have encouraged me along the way, and you've given me some of the best advice. So I just wanted to give you a heartfelt thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're new here, welcome. I started my business at the end of July on eBay, reselling all kinds of goods. I am considered an everything store. So when you open up your business on eBay, you can really niche down, and some people are very successful at that. I might go in a certain direction in the future. As of right now, I'm more concerned with trying to find anything and everything to flip for a profit. And I'm sure as time continues on, I will probably lean towards certain items versus others. I've already kind of started to source in a way that I'm like, okay, this is impossible to ship. And so I'm going to pass on it. And I've noticed like clothing's really easy to ship. So when it comes to shipping, or even like profit margins, where I'm like, okay, when I pick up these types of items, I get a higher profit margin. So I'm being more selective in that case, I guess. And there are some things that I enjoy shopping for versus others. All in all, I am trying to find joy and profit at the same time in this business. And so far I have been successful in doing so. As far as my time commitment goes to this business, I am a full-time mom at home. That is my number one job, wife and mom. Second comes this eBay reselling business, to give you kind of a good understanding of what my capabilities are after I go through all of this, profit breakdown and sales, etc. It just kind of gives you a good understanding of the time I have to commit to this business. So I would consider myself a part-time reseller. I know there's people who go out and source goods on a daily basis and work on their business from sun up to sundown. They do it for full-time. There are many YouTubers out there that are like that and share their experience in that. This is a perspective and performance from someone who does this part-time. As far as my credentials go, I do not have prior experience in reselling. I became a full-time mom after I had kid number 2. I've got 4 kids, all ages 2 to 7. We have a busy household. And I worked all up till I had my second child, and my work experience has all been in the restaurant industry. So not in this type of retail setting. I think I held a part-time job for about 3 months. For one summer, it was like a seasonal job when I was in high school at Old Navy. So that is my retail experience. So hopefully that's encouraging to you. If you're like, I have no experience in retail, neither did I coming into this. With all of that being said, I'm going to give you a breakdown of everything I will cover in this video. I have my notes. I've tallied the receipts. And this is action-packed. You're going to get all the details, the ins and outs. First, I am going to cover with you my inventory count. So how I kind of built up the amount of inventory I have in my store, what it looked like in the first month, second month, and third month, and what I ended that 100 days at, to let you know the amount of items that I have available for purchase in my eBay store. Second, I'm going to cover all of my sourcing. So the shopping trips that I've made along the way and how much I have spent on shopping. I will break it down at the end to let you know profit margins on the items that have sold versus what I spent on those items, but I will cover secondly just what I've spent in total in my first 100 days to give you an idea of what I've spent on sourcing so far. Third, I will let you in on all of the operating expenses that I have had so far. This will include cleaning materials and restoration materials that I've used to clean the items I've purchased and sold, or restore them. And it will also include the shipping costs that are not the shipping costs like shipping labels, but like all of the materials like the tape, the boxes, the bags, etc. on all of my shipping stuff that I've purchased so far. And it will include any tools that I have purchased along the way to better improve my business. Then fourth, I will give you my top line sales and the eBay fees associated with those top line sales. So that will include eBay fee cut, just like the amount that they charge you to be on the platform, and the ad fees associated. I'll give you the full breakdown. I took a picture of every single eBay fee that's included in that 100-day span, so you can kind of get a good idea, because there's a lot of weird and random fees associated, but I will give you the full scope of it. Then we will wrap it all up and crunch the numbers to let you know what my actual true profit take home has been in my first 100 days with 100 sales on eBay. In this video, I will not include the items that I have sold. I do cover that in all of my what sold videos that I've made along the way. You can check them out at any of these. I've broken them down in detail to let you know what that item is that I sold, when I listed it, when it actually sold, so you could see how long it stayed on my store shelf and how much it sold for. So go ahead and check those out on my page to further know and understand the exact items that I've sold in my first 100 days. Okay, and as far as the future goes, a little sneak peek into what I'm working on coming up. I've got 2 videos I have that I'm currently working on that are in the queue. One is a no-fail shipping video, and I have had my fair share of ups and downs in shipping. If you've been with me since day one, you have witnessed it all. I finally have figured it out. It only took me 100 sales to do so, but I have a no-fail shipping method that I'm going to share with you all. So I've got a lot of questions and comments along the way about shipping, what that looks like, etc. I'm going to cover it all in my no-fail shipping video coming up. If you have requests for the video, now's your chance to put it in the comments below. That way I can do my best to address it in that video. Secondly, I have been making some great sales, and I was like, oh wow, I'm like at the point where I'm like, I should probably start thinking about what this looks like for tax season. I am incredibly lucky. Not only is my personal tax professional a good friend of mine, she's also my neighbor. And so I had her over for dinner the other night, and I asked her many tax questions and how I need to prepare for tax season as a new reseller. And she had a lot of great advice. She is not so keen on being on camera, which I totally respect, but I'm going to make a video letting you know all the questions I asked her and the advice she gave me and how I am planning to prepare for tax season. So really exciting stuff coming up. If you have not already done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can be alerted for when those launch and come your way. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. First thing is first, we want to talk about the listings. How many listings have you had, Candace? How have you made 100 sales? It is, at the end of the day, a numbers game. The more you have listed that are of quality listings, the more of a chance that you have to sell things. I started out my business kind of at a slow roll. I would say when I was, in the first couple weeks, I had listed around 1 to 2, maybe 3 items a day. It wasn't until about 3 weeks in I picked up on that. And so then I started to try and have a regimen of about 5 listings a day. Not every day was 5 listings a day. I live a crazy and busy life, and I have taken a vacation in the middle of that 100 days, and I got really, really sick in the middle of that 100 days as well. So I would say there was a good 3 weeks peppered throughout that I didn't do any listings at all. So just to kind of give you a context there, I have done my best to be as consistent as possible, but I have not been super consistent over those first 100 days. So bringing me to the exact number is I have 100 orders so far, and at the end of the 100 days, I had exactly 273 listings still. And so you can see here, that's what that looks like. The total potential sales that I have on those 273 listings that are still in my store as active listings is a little over $8,000, $8,252 to be exact. That's my asking price. Of course, I know and understand, as many of you have been selling on eBay, there's a lot of negotiating that happens. So hopefully I get all that. That would be awesome. But we will see. Okay, so hopefully me sharing that information kind of gives you good context. So I've done a total of 373 listings, and I've sold 100 of those. in those first 100 days. And I don't know what's average. I do feel like that's really good. I am grateful and happy with that. And hopefully, if you can go check out my store. I always have my eBay store linked for learning purposes. You can kind of see the stuff that I sell and get a good idea of that. And of course, check out my what sold videos of the items that are listed, which ones have actually sold. Because I wouldn't say that every single listing I have up is a home run. I'm still learning what sells and what sells for how much. But all in all, for me being a brand new beginner, I think that having 100 sales out of the 373 that I have listed so far is awesome. Okay, number 2, let's talk about sourcing. I have done a lot of shopping, which is really fun, to buy all the goods that you see on my store shelf. First and foremost, the very first place that I sourced was my home. And I highly recommend this because that is of no cost to you. You can just go around your house and be okay with things to part with and that you think they are of quality and of value to resell on eBay. And that's a really good place to start. I have, though, made it a routine to go out and source at other places. I have gone to these following places: Goodwill. I have gone to estate sales. I have tried out garage and yard sales, not been as successful for me in my area. And I have gone to Goodwill Outlet, which is primarily where I go now. For the time constraints that I have for shopping, I can almost guarantee that I can find something good and within a reasonable time when I go to Goodwill Outlet. So that's kind of been the places I've shopped at so far. I have done roughly 18 to 21-ish. I couldn't exactly nail down every single day that I've gone out between like the estate sales and everything. 18 to 21-ish shopping trips throughout that 100 days to fill the inventory that I have. Really quick again on the inventory. I still have inventory that I've shopped for and that it's not listed. So the inventory pricing I'm going to talk to you about right now is not reflective in the 273 active listings, or I should say 373 total listings that I've had in that 100 days. I do have a little bit of a death pile. I will show it to you here. Not too bad though. I will say I've seen some other videos online of some crazy death piles, so I feel like I'm actually doing pretty good in not accumulating a massive death pile. If you don't know what a death pile is, it's just items that have yet to be listed. I do know some people shop seasonally, and that way they like shop a bunch in the summer and springtime when it's nice to be out, maybe early fall. And that way they don't have to go out in the winter when it's really hard to navigate the roads with snow or crazy weather, or it's cold to be like garage sailing and things like that. So death piles are not bad. They're only bad if you never, ever, ever list them. So if you have intention to fix up items and list them, I don't see anything wrong with having a death pile, quote unquote. Okay, so as far as how much I've spent on all of those shopping trips, all the places that I've gone to in my first 100 days on eBay, is a grand total of $920.54. That's a good chunk of change. But I have taken a good chunk of that and I've already listed it. And then there is still potential profit to be made of the items I have not yet listed. So I don't know what the average is for other people in their first 100 days, but that is what I have spent so far in all of my trips. I do think that I will get better in the future because there are, if you go back to some of my very first videos, there are some items that now that I'm learning and I know how to shop for the flip much better than day one, my cost as far as when I go out and I source goods is getting better. And so that's $920.54 from someone who really knew nothing coming into this. So I may have spent more money on certain items than I should have, probably in like that first 6 weeks. And I got better on the latter half, that last 50 days, and will continue to improve going forward. Next, number 3, let's talk about all of the operating expenses. I'm going to give you the breakdown of everything I have purchased so far for my business and how much that costed me in total. I have 3 areas I'm going to review with you. So one is cleaning restoration materials. So we buy stuff to flip it, but sometimes we buy stuff and it needs to be cleaned or restored. And so I'm going to talk to you about that. 2, I'm going to talk to you about all of the tools that I have purchased for my business to help me with, shipping or listing or anything like that. That's tools related, not shipping materials. And then 3, I'm going to talk to you about all of the shipping materials that I have purchased so far and how much that's costed me. So I'll break down each category on the totals for that, and then the operating expense total between all 3 categories. First up, let's go ahead and talk about restoration and cleaning materials. I got excellent advice from my aunt when I first started my business to not go crazy in this category because cleaning materials and restoration materials can totally add up. I can't tell you how many times I almost purchased something and then I was like, wait, I'm like, do I really have $30 to spend on something right now this early in my business? So I have been really good. It has not only helped me be profitable, but it's also helped me in how I decide to purchase things. So I'm noticing, like in the beginning, I wasn't so strict on it, but now I'm being a little bit more strict going forward on buying things that don't need a ton of restoration. As my business continues to grow, I think that I will be able to afford restoration materials and cleaning supplies and things like that to help better these products to get a higher profit. So I have had to sell items along the way in these first 100 days that are not fully restored or fully not clean per se, but like stains removed and things like that. Like I don't sell dirty stuff, but I haven't like gone out of the gate day one to buy the OxiClean and stuff like that. So it's a process. But and I've had to sell things where I haven't like restored them, quote unquote, and I've taken a lesser price for them. But then when I like weighed it out, I'm like, okay, if I buy this to restore these shoes, like, is that really going to pay off for these one pair of shoes? In the future, it might. And so I am slowly trying to acquire these items to help me and, toggling that, what it is that I buy and when. Hopefully that gives you a good understanding of my thought process behind why I have purchased what I've purchased so far. First step I have here is OxiClean. I bought OxiClean and I have washed many hats and gotten them looking a lot better through OxiClean. Really happy for that one. I did purchase Tide, and that's because I washed some items. And I'm saying some because I am noticing not everything needs to be washed. Some stuff I am picking up and it is like already washed and ready to go. So I know that everyone's policy is different. I don't know what my policy is going forward. This is just kind of what I've experienced so far. Some people don't wash anything and they just kind of sell it as is. And some people, that is their process. Let me tell you this though. Okay. I started like washing everything. And then I realized that you can ruin things even when you wash them properly. I have this Wrangler jacket and I'll show you the listing here. I washed it according to the website and care and instructions and everything properly and dried it properly. Even with everything, I messed up the tag. And I'll show you the before and after picture. This is the tag before and this is the tag after. And it was a total bummer that I messed up the tag, and thank God that I had taken a picture before because I make these YouTube videos, or else I would not have had credibility. And so I included the prior picture in my listing, and I still have not sold this jacket. I don't know if the tag's the issue. I think this jacket will sell. It's a vintage denim jacket. So even though it's not Levi, I still think that it's still going to sell. Either way, it's making me reevaluate what I wash and what I don't wash. If you have a policy and you're a reseller and you have a good policy, please share it with us in the comments because I'm still trying to figure it out. But anyways, I bought Tide I did buy this leather boot care kit and I use it on my leather items. I polished up wallets, bags, shoes, and that was well worth the investment. And then I've also purchased this OxiClean Spray, and that has helped me remove stains. I've actually gotten quite a few stains out of some clothes now, which has helped me on the resale. So all in on my cleaning restoration supplies, I have spent $76.32 in my first 100 days. Okay, on to the second section, tools. I have covered, if you've not seen my must-have tools video, go ahead and check it out. But let me give you a quick breakdown on what's in it. So I have purchased SoftBox Lighting. You can see here that was quite a hefty investment, at $63.47. It was worth it because let me tell you this, if you're a brand new reseller, you can buy this right out of the gate, but if you don't have time constraints and you have beautiful weather wherever you are, try and use natural lighting as best as you can. And I did. And a lot of listings you'll see on my store, I've used natural lighting, and quite honestly, that's like the best lighting that you can get if you can get the angle right. It gives the true color, it gives excellent vibrant color. And I use my phone for all my photography. My iPhone works great, so no need to overthink that part. But SoftBox Lighting has helped me because I have time constraints with taking care of children. And so a lot of times I photograph stuff after they go to bed when I'm uninterrupted and working in peace, just sipping on my hot tea. It's beautiful. So anyway, so SoftBox Lighting I have invested in. I have also invested in the shipping scale. Let me tell you right now, if you, and I'm going to talk about this on my shipping video, day one, out of the gate, you should buy a shipping scale. This will save you so much headache and hassle when it comes to shipping and listing and all that. So well worth that money. I did buy some boards from Dollar Tree, and these boards I use to photograph for background. So they're just blank foam boards that I purchased from Dollar Tree that I use as my background in photographing my items. I have also purchased measuring tape and stick, and these help me accurately measure items for listings, and also I use them when I photograph my listings. I have also decided to invest in paying for ChatGPT. It is $20 a month, and it has totally transformed my business. I talk about it in detail on the must-have tools video, and I highly recommend you go hear me plead my case. Not only has it helped me on research, but it also is helping me create and craft my listings, and it has saved me so much time. So that is what I'm deciding to pay for. I've only paid for 2 months of it in my first 100 days. So $20 a month, I've sunk $40 into that so far. The grand total on that is $142.20 on just tools alone in the first 100 days. Next, let's go ahead and talk about all of my shipping costs. This does not include shipping fees. I have calculated in shipping fees for, yes, a handful of items because silly old me was offering free shipping at first. If you're new and you want to be profitable, do not offer free shipping right out the gate. I was spending money on shipping at first. That's not calculated in here. In this category, I'm going to talk to you about all of the shipping materials that I have purchased so far. So when I first started my business, I actually didn't know what to buy at first, and luckily the items that I did buy right out the gate, I did end up using, but I kind of was like, oh, like maybe I need some of these little bubble foam mailers and I don't know what I need quite yet. Pump the brakes, okay? Get your listings up and then see what sells. And when you're seeing what sells for you and you're getting more acclimated with the type of items that you're using, start out very little and then kind of work your way along your sales journey. To help give you better context on what I mean working your way along the way, I'm going to give you the date in which I purchased all of these throughout the first 100 days to kind of give you the cadence in how I purchased and how frequently and at what points I purchased them. So right out the gate, 8/1, I purchased bubble mailers and a packing tape gun. And the reason why I only purchased those two and no boxes is I have yet to purchase a box at all. I know enough people in my life that do a lot of online shopping. And so not only have I kept stuff from my own online shopping, but I have so graciously been, given boxes from friends and family to supply all of the boxes I've ever needed in my first 100 days. So no purchases on that, but I have purchased other stuff. So these bubble mailers that I bought right out the gate, I was just like not really knowing what I needed, and I kind of bought them. Luckily, I ended up using them throughout my first 100 days. So I've actually used all of them so far, and I need to go buy more. But those have been a good investment. And then the packing tape gun, I would not buy this gun again, and I talk about it in my tools video. My wrist, it just doesn't work, but I was good and I used it fully, but I still have that empty gun just laying around. So I bought that right out the gate, day one. And then I decided to invest in some poly mailers. So poly mailers are a lot lighter than boxes. And so I noticed that I was able to save with shipping, because if you can wrap something up in a poly mailer and even make it smaller than it would in a larger box, that helps. And then also the weight of a box versus a poly mailer. So I didn't go gung-ho and buy every size poly mailer available. I bought a really large size poly mailer, and then I, trying to be as frugal as possible. If I had a smaller item, and when I say items that ship in poly mailers, I'm shipping like clothes, soft items that can be in those bags. If it was smaller, I would just kind of like put it in the bag, and then I'd roll it up in the bag and then just tape it at the end. And that way I didn't feel the need that I had to buy all different kinds of sizes and stock up right out of the gate, because I wanted to still be profitable. So I bought those on 8/31. I got these poly mailers, are huge, 24 by 36. And I still have a large stack of them. So I've been able to use those, and along the way I bought some more stuff, but $28.99, that can add up. And then a couple days later, I was like, well, let me get a really small thing of poly mailers. And I was just kind of going on eBay, and I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool to get some poly mailers that said eBay on it. I'm just trying to find ways to enhance my business. So I did get these super small poly mailers on 9.5 for $10. I would not recommend this size unless you're shipping small stuff that's not breakable. This was way too small of a size for a poly mailer for my personal business, because I'm noticing anything that's small enough to fit in these poly mailers needs like wrapping of some kind, or can be breakable. And so I have used these really small poly mailers very little. And that's just my personal experience. So I still have a good stack of them, but really cool. And of course, I'm linking everything in the description below, so you can check these out more in detail. But cool to have a poly mailer that says eBay on it. Makes you a little bit more official, right? I have noticed though they're more expensive, and so that's why the other poly mailers I have purchased are still just from Amazon. Okay, let's keep going down the list here. Okay, I have 4 more items that I've purchased for shipping so far, and let me tell you what those are. So on 10/13, I ended up finishing off that horrible tape gun. No hate, some people really love them. But I did end up investing in some more tape. So this 6-pack, it's 400 yards, and I paid $26.99 for it, and I still have a lot of that tape. So that was a really good investment there. Got those off of Amazon. And then on 10/14, I purchased this multi-pack of cellophane bags. And if I were to do my 100 days over again, I probably would have bought these right out the gate. When you're reselling items, they're resale, right? So they're used items for the most part. I've sold some new stuff, and it depends on what your business is, I guess. But when I'm reselling an item and it's a used item, I feel like putting that used item in this cellophane bag, where it kind of gives it that new feel, where you close it shut there and they have to open their package like it's a new package, levels up the shipping and delivery experience of your item, I feel. I noticed that other resellers do this cellophane bag with it, and I noticed that because I had bought some stuff on eBay and it got shipped to me, which is a great way to kind of experience how other resellers do things online. Just shop on eBay and see how things come shipped to you. And then also my aunt, who's a longtime reseller, uses this method as well. And so I did finally make the plunge though on 10/14, and I got this pack, and it has 4 sizes in it. I loved them so much that I ended up purchasing some more later, and I'll get to that in just a moment. On 10/22, I took the next plunge into yet another size of poly mailers, and these are 19 by 24, and though that's probably my most used size right now, and that fits like sweatshirts, hoodies, dresses, jeans, things like that, with some wiggle room. So like that's a good size I think I'll probably stick to going forward. And then on 1024, I bought these 14 by 20 cello bags, and that was to accommodate larger items to fit in the cellophane bag. I might consider getting an even larger cello bag for items that are a little bit bigger, but all in all, I've been very happy with all the purchases I made so far. I have not spent any money on bubble wrap or kind of loose packing, like paper squished up kind of they do in the packing to provide like, to fill the dead space in a box, because I already have that on hand. For my kids' arts and crafts, I had gotten this really large butcher paper roll, and I still have it, and I use it to wrap up items when I ship things out, and also to fill that dead space kind of in the boxes and to provide extra padding and comfort and whatnot. And as far as bubble wrap goes, or any kind of like air foam padding and things like that, I have been able to recycle. So I have to go look at my inventory, but I have like a trash bag full of, I keep on hand one trash bag full of miscellaneous like bubble wrap that I collected from either my own shipping or friends and family again. So that's the way I've been able to cost save, and it has worked out for me so far. All in for the shipping materials, I have spent $157.57 so far in my first 100 days. So that brings me to a grand total between all three categories to $376.09. Okay, I hope that has been helpful so far for you to know exactly what it is that I bought and how much it's costed me. Keep in mind, all the stuff that I have purchased so far that I just broke down for you are still items I'm using going forward. I still have all those cleaning materials and supplies. I've used very little of them. The tools that I have purchased so far are still going strong. And then all of the shipping supplies and materials, I have used a good chunk of them, but I still have a ton of it left for use. So yes, they've been investments that I've made in the first 100 days and will affect my profitability in the first 100 days, but will be continued investment going forward. So hopefully that gives a good understanding at the timing behind it and kind of how I've approached it so far in my business. Okay, next up, let's talk about all of the eBay fees associated with selling on the eBay platform. This is not the fun part. But you know what? I would not have been able to make these sales otherwise. And so for that, I'm very grateful to have eBay. Other resellers start on other platforms like Poshmark, Etsy, Depop, and I'm sure there's others out there. And it might work depending on what type of items that you sell. I am currently in everything store. And where can you get everything under the sun? eBay. I sell all kinds of stuff. So I am grateful to have been able to sell on this. But let's talk about what it costs to sell on eBay. Okay, I'm going to throw it up here. I have spent a grand total of $875.09 on eBay for their fees in my first 100 days. I'll break it down here. You'll see there's insertion fees, final value fees, ad fees, general, international fees, transaction fee credits, account level fees and adjustments, and subscription fees. I'm going to talk to you about two of the items that are on here. One, I want to talk about insertion fees. Insertion fees are when you pay for your listing to go up, and they are 30 cents a listing. And you get, whether you have a paid subscription or not, whether you're just like a person who buys on eBay and you have like kind of a free account with eBay, I should say, and you're selling that way, you will still get a certain amount of free subscription, or a certain amount of free listings. And I thought to myself, I'm like, oh, okay, like I'll never list more than 250 listings in, each month anyway. So sure, no problem, whatever. Didn't really think it would ever affect me. Now I have learned your listings, once you put them up, they are good for 1 month. Then they auto renew after a month. That adds to the grand total of what you're allowed to list every single month before you start getting charged this fee. This insertion fee is 30 cents a listing, and I noticed it on my 3rd month. So I had been building up my store count, and I told you the numbers on how much I have had on my store shelf and how many listings I've had. I noticed that in month 3 of my first 100 days that I started to accrue insertion fees. And I was like, wait, how am I accruing insertion fee? I've only made like 10 listings so far this month. Well, a bunch of the listings. So once you put a listing up, it's only good for like a month, and then it auto renews, and you'll see there's like a little countdown timer where it's like, oh, 1 day left before it renews. And I had on, and maybe it wasn't 10 listings in that month. I had already been halfway through the month. And so I'd done a good chunk of listings. I was like, oh, I've made like 25 listings so far, or 50 listings, I'm not sure, in that month's time. But I'm like, I sure haven't hit 250 listings. Well, it just so happened that a bunch of my old listings had auto renewed in that first couple weeks, and I continued to make listings and started realizing that I already maxed out my 250 listings that were available. So keep that in mind. When you have listings that are currently on your store shelf and when they auto renew, that accounts for your free listings of the month. So if you plan to be a store that has a higher amount of inventory, just account for this going forward. This is something that you cannot avoid if you want to have a lot of listings on eBay. So I'm okay with that. Ultimately, I know that if I have more listings on eBay, a higher chance I have to sell stuff, and I've made some pretty good money so far. So I'm okay with the 30 cents per listing, but I learned that one the hard way, I guess. Not the hard way, but just I learned it along the way. And hopefully that's helpful to you if you notice this along the way as well. I also want to talk to you about ad fees real quick. So I have gone all around the boat on how I want to approach promoting my items and paying for ad fees. I have gotten really good advice from you all over the past couple months, and I didn't do it at first. I didn't do like promoted items at first, but I did start to halfway along my journey, and have now decided that I make a listing and I just kind of let it ride and see how it does. And then if it just seems to get little to no traction within a week, I will go ahead and automatically promote it at 2%. And if I go along the way and it's been some weeks and I still want to just kind of give that little extra boost, I'll do it at 2% as well. So I have chosen to use the ad fee or the advertisement capabilities through using promoted listings. And I've made a lot of sales off of it. And you can see I've paid for it, $140.80 worth. And so that is kind of what I've decided to going forward. Next, I want to talk to you about my subscription fees. So my subscription fees directly correlate to me being a paid storefront. And if you have not already launched your eBay business, I would highly recommend you making this whopping $5 a month investment right out of the gate. You'll have much more organization in your storefront, and you'll have a lot more capabilities in regards to financial reporting and business analysis, etc. So I have decided to make the plunge, and I paid so far only 2 months worth in my first 100 days. But I'm thinking I might do a video all about that experience in the future. If you're interested in me making a video all about me creating my storefront and what that's looked like and all the ups and downs, comment below. I take requests. So anyways, that is what I've paid for so far on that. I do want to talk about also in this section the shipping fees that I have paid so far. So I have paid a total of $875.09 just to operate on eBay. And silly old me, right in the beginning, I decided to offer free shipping, and it took a chunk away from my profitability. I paid a total of $86.73 in shipping in my first 100 days, and so far, because I stopped paying for shipping a long time ago. But that brings my grand total of fees paid for in this first 100 days to $961.82. Okay. Woo. That's a lot of numbers I've thrown at you so far. And I hope that I was fairly expansive and gave you like every little detail I possibly could have to help you either compare your business or get you prepared to start your business. I'm going to give you grand totals now to see what my actual true take-home profit has been from my first 100 days making 100 sales on eBay. Here I am going to show you all of the numbers, and I want to point out a few things. So you'll see here it shows my total sales at $4,865.24. Do not look at that number. I want you to look at the blue box, because that number is like the grand total with like the taxes they charge and the fees associated, shipping, handling, etc. So that's not the number we're looking at. We're looking at the blue box over here. The blue box shown is $2,884.43. And that number is after all of the eBay fees have been taken out. So now all I have to do is back out my operating expenses and my cost of goods. And that grand total is $1,587.80. Woohoo! I'm so incredibly grateful for that. That is my take-home pocket. Like that is like what's in my pocket, cash in hand at the end of that. I do want to give you another number to leave you with here at the very end, which is the cost in which I have spent on items versus what I actually sold them for. I did some math on it. I took all of the items they sold and what I had paid for each of those items, and I added it up, which only came to, so I told you my grand total, right? But I still have stuff that's not listed yet, and I have a bunch of listings up. So yes, I spent $920.54 in total for those first 100 days, but what have I spent on the items that have actually sold? I've only spent $391 on the items of those 100 that I've sold. So doing some quick math and calculating back in, the eBay fees and the top line sales of everything, dividing out that $391 brings me roughly to 10%. So out of the top line sales, like what I actually sold the item for, so I listed an item for $25, it sold for $25. What I actually paid for that item that sold for $25 has sat on average at 10%, which I feel is an amazing profit margin. I think that the rule of thumb, which a lot of people use, is to sit anywhere from like 25% and below. And I don't go into the nitty-gritty on each item. I do buy stuff bundled at estate sales and at Goodwill outlets. I pay by the pound. And so I kind of am recalibrating at the end of each month to see money in versus money out. But just looking at the items there and trying to get prepared for tax season, I have spent $391 on those 100 items. And that brought me to, only spending 10% versus what I sold it for. And that is an awesome way to kick off my eBay business. And I hope that this video has been incredibly helpful for you and expansive in detail. Again, all the items I've talked about that I have purchased so far for my business are linked below. You can go snoop around on my eBay store and see the listings I have up to kind of compare and contrast. And I hope to see you all in the future, and I will continue to update you on all of the happenings with my business, and I am planning to continue to come out with more content that will help other resellers just like myself. You all have a wonderful and blessed day, and I will chat with you again soon.